morning, everyone. I'm Michelle LeFevere, Sales Manager, Restaurants Vertical at Snap Inc. And I'm so thrilled to be sharing the stage with this fantastic and talented group of marketing leaders, Mario, Marissa, and Stephanie from 7-Eleven. As everyone had mentioned, Marissa mentioned, today's theme is all about culture. Cultural trends, connecting to culture to build your brand, and being relevant for today's consumer. With Snapchat being at the heart of today's trends and culture and the leading platform among this new generation, I'm so excited to dig deep on these topics with one of our strongest and dearest partners, 7-Eleven. There's no better brand to tell this story. 7-Eleven has been a part of American culture for almost a century. We're going to go behind the brand and give you a peek into how 7-Eleven has truly transformed to become a driving force of culture among today's new generation. So let's get started. First, would love if you guys could all introduce yourselves and share a little more about your role.
Leave it to the comms person to not know how to use them. We're always behind the scenes, guys. Okay. So, anyway, I'm Stephanie Shaw. I lead the communications team here at 7-Eleven. So we do all PR, crisis mitigation, internal comms, store comms, as well as video production.
Hi, I'm Mario. My team manages everything having to do with customer data. So we have customer analytics, all the loyalty programs. We also run all the customer data monetization, so that includes retail media, C-Shopper, and the Brand Innovators Collective, which is our proprietary consumer panel.
Hello, I'm Marissa Eddings. My team leads brand advertising media, which includes social media, and now we've actually recoined that the culture and social media team, so we'll get to learn a lot more about that, and as well as packaging, visual identity, and our in-house creative agency.
All right, well, let's get started with the questions. Mario, you're up first. Share with us, how are you thinking about today's consumer, and how has your audience strategy changed?
Wow, what a question. Well, what my team does, we're retailers, so we have a lot of customer data. So traditionally you look at segmentations, demographic, psychographic, and we use those, but for us it's more important to understand how the customers behave in the store. So what we do is with our loyalty program, we analyze all the behaviors of our customer in store, and we try to understand what is their recency, frequency, but we also look at what is their product elasticity, brand elasticity, what are the products where they are price elastic, where should we give them discounts that they care about versus things where they're not price elastic and they won't really value a discount that much. Now, that is very technical, that is not really tied to culture very much, but it's very important. That's the way we sort of run the business in marketing. What we need to do to complement that is, as I said, we have this thing called the Brand Innovators Collective. The Brand Innovators Collective is our proprietary customer panel. We have 250,000 members, which we have mapped to the database. We know exactly what are the products they like, what is their brand loyalty, what is their frequency of purchase, where they're price elastic, where they're not price elastic or brand elastic. The Brand Innovators Collective, what we use it to understand is what the customers care about. And one of the big things we do, it's an always-on community. We don't always use it to get relevant answers. We want them to be engaged. So we throw a lot of questions out there. And what we've learned over the last few years is that through the Brand Innovators Collective, we can really understand what are the things that really get our customers going. So what are the tribes they belong to? What are the fandoms that really turn them on? And we use that understanding to make our marketing much more relevant.
Makes sense. Speaking of relevancy, Stephanie and Marissa would love to hear more about how 7-Eleven thinks about culture.
I think, so I'll chime in just to talk a little bit about our core philosophy. We have a customer obsession here that is unmatched, and I think it goes back to really the start of our company and really the start of the convenience industry. So there was a guy, and many of you may have already heard this story, but there was a guy named Uncle Johnny Green who was an ice dock worker in Oak Cliff, Texas in 1927. And he really was very focused on his customers. He wanted to serve them, he wanted to give them what they wanted. And what he noticed when they came in for ice was that they really wanted more. They wanted milk, bread, eggs, the staples that they could only get when the grocery store was open. And the ice dock had much longer hours, and he noticed that his customers were really frustrated by that. Like, gosh, I really wish the grocery store was open right now. And he thought, I could do that. And so he came and made a case to the president of the company and said, I need some extra money for some shelves and some product. Just give me this summer and let me see what I can do. Like, I think if I give these products to my customers, we're really gonna want them. And he did, and he came back with a big bag of cash at the end of the summer, and that was the beginning of the convenience store industry. And I think that customer obsession by one individual person has inspired a company to continue to innovate and to focus on our customers' needs, and that has really led to our approach to how 7-Eleven integrates into culture. So I'll let Marissa talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we really think about what our customers love, what they care about, their passion points, as Maria mentioned, and the fandoms that they really see as their tribe. And so we think about what are the right fandoms, and then how can we add value in that fandom? How can we continue that tradition of Uncle Johnny Green and giving the customers what they want, elevating them within those fandoms, and really building those relationships. And so we focus on 4 key fandoms. The first one is sports, and so as you think about right now, obviously that's football is a big one. We have a cleat crew activation in our stores, and so we can really add a lot of value there with the products that we have as you think about the sports fandom. The second one is gaming, and gaming is huge. And so when you think about gaming, it goes all the way from Fortnite to Candy Crush. How many of you play Candy Crush? Yep. Candy Crush is huge. They're like 250 million monthly active users. It's huge. And so when you think about gaming and you think about snacking, it's like they go together like peanut butter and jelly. I mean, you gotta have snacking when you're gaming, right? So we can certainly be a huge partner to our customers when it comes to gaming. And then we think a lot about music and fashion and how can we inspire creativity in those areas, and that really comes to life with Slurpee, which we'll talk a little bit more about in a minute. The last one, though, is one that's, I think, a little more unique to us and happened a little more organically, and that's car culture. And so 3 years ago or so, we were revamping our social strategy. And we said, you know, what are people already saying about 7-Eleven and social? What are they already doing? Where are they tagging us? And we saw a lot of pictures of cars in front of our stores, which you're probably like, what? That makes no sense. But when you think about the glow of the 7-Eleven logo and the stripes, especially at night, it creates a very dramatic backdrop for car pictures. And so we started sharing those. We were sharing the user-generated content that we saw, and we saw that those posts were performing like 10x some of our other posts. And so when something's working, you keep doing it and you try to understand it. And about a year after that, a TikTok user actually stitched together images from our Instagram account and posted a TikTok video saying, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but saying, why is no one talking about how badass the 7-Eleven social Instagram account is? And that TikTok went viral with the car community, and within 24 hours, our followership had grown more than we'd seen in the whole year. And the culture, the community had self-organized a national 7-Eleven car meetup. It was crazy. And so we were like, okay, there's clearly something here. And so we continue to nurture that fandom. And we have a video to show you guys a little bit more about that one. So they gave me the remote. Let's hope it works. Can I do this correctly?
It's not a remote.
Yeah.
see, 7-Eleven has done a fantastic job of jumping onto cultural moments quickly. Tell us a little more about the Mijares partnership.
Yeah, sure. So I think we have some pictures for this one too. So partnership is obviously a huge part of how we think about culture and looking for the right collaborations and the right brands and people to work with. And I think the really important part of this is having that right strategy in place and the preparedness in place. So when something like this happens, you can jump on it really, really quickly. And so at the very beginning of October, some of you may have seen this, some of you may have not, but Jamar Chase, who's the wide receiver for the Bengals, basically commented in an interview after a game, "I'm always effing open." And then the next day proceeded to post a picture of 7-Eleven on his social media, again reflecting the fact that he is always open. And so our team really just mobilized very quickly. They saw the opportunity. Again, we have a very, very clear criteria in how we think about this. We look at, does it align with one of our fandoms? Does it have momentum? And we have an agency partner that helps us to measure momentum and what that means. And it's really looking for those kind of low volume, high velocity moments. And then the third one is it ownable to us? Like, can we own this? Could anyone do it, or does it really need to be 7-Eleven? Because we want 1 + 1 to equal 3 or more, really 11. We want to take it to 11, right? And so in this moment, we were able to do that. Within a week, we had partnered with him. And you can go to the next picture, which shows him wearing our bling, our 7-Eleven bling, at the game the next week. And the fact that we had, again, that preparedness, we had the assets to be able to activate very quickly, allowed us to capture that moment.
Very cool. Everyone was talking about it, but let's talk about another fan favorite here, the Slurpee. Slurpee got a new look this year. Share with us how this 7-Eleven transformed the Slurpee brand.
So Slurpee is iconic. I mean, everyone has a nostalgic story about Slurpee where you rode to 7-Eleven on your bike in the summer with your dad and had a Slurpee. I mean, everyone has a story after soccer. But, it's such an iconic brand. We've been included in pop culture forever. I mean, The Simpsons, every TV show, every movie has included 7-Eleven and Slurpee, but every brand has to continue to evolve. And so how do you do that with something that is so iconic that people love? And so, Marissa, why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it is a tough challenge when you're like, hey, you're going to take one of the most iconic brands in America and you need to, make it better. And you're like, oh, okay, cool, no problem. So it was really about how do we drive relevance with a new customer, with Gen Z who are growing up who maybe don't have those nostalgic memories of Slurpee. And so worked with agency partners to really create a much more modern brand within Slurpee. The color palettes were modern. We created an S monogram, which Slurpee had never had, which is really exciting. And Slurpee's always been very grounded in creativity and in self-expression. And what better way to relaunch a Slurpee brand and visual identity than through music, where self-expression is obviously the point of music. And so this year was also the 50th anniversary of hip hop. And so we said, perfect timing. So we worked with hip hop artists. Flo Milli was the primary artist, and 3 other up and coming hip hop artists to create a bespoke song. It was a song of the summer, a Slurpee song of the summer, and a music video. And so we really, used their voices to talk about Slurpee in a different way and to show that Slurpee is a modern brand. It continues to evolve. Slurpee has always evolved. If you go back and look at it over time, you think about cup designs and flavors and all of the collaborations we've done with Slurpee, it's always evolving. And so this is one more evolution of that to just continue to remain relevant. And I'll let Steph talk a little bit about the traction we got with it.
Yeah, rebrands, how do you get coverage for that? How do you break through? We all know, everyone's evolving. Everyone wants to attract a new kind of customer. Everyone wants to be the new hot thing. And so how do you do that in a way that really breaks through? And I think the fact that we were tying into a customer fandom that they really connected with and empowering them through a product that they know and love. And so the fact that all of that really tied so seamlessly together really allowed us to break through from a PR perspective. And it was one of our biggest announcements of the year, which is really saying something when it goes up against Slurpee Day. So let's watch the video so you guys can see for yourself.
I be outside with my cousin, we fine. Do what we want, I can't wait in no line. I made him swipe his card, tell him pick up.
Just in time for summer, 7-Eleven's iconic Slurpee getting a bit of a facelift.
No froze, but he got numb, can't feel my toes. Flavor, I'm a peep, don't nobody know. Too many choices, so anything goes. Ice on cold, too many choices, so anything flows.
It is 7-Eleven's birthday. The iconic gas station and convenience store is giving away free Slurpees to celebrate.
Anything flows.
VVS diamonds might blind him. Watch so froze, I can't tell what the time is. He gon' do what I say like Simon. Baby blue whip, drop the Eddie, I'm sliding. Summertime, he make me thirsty. Slide to the speedway to give me a Slurpee. Big dot, pick you ring on freeze cup. Take a sip and I bet he gon' freeze up.
7-Eleven Slurpees just got a little cooler. The store is collaborating with designer King Ice to release a jewelry collection.
King's temp when I walk in. Ice. If you fuck with me, you bold. Can't cry on my shoulder, it's way too cold. Baby count matching my attitude. I would hate me too, I ain't got you.
Damn, question if you kinda thirsty. Too tough, a brain freeze couldn't hurt me. Switch cars when paparazzi follow the team. Tell that one he watch his mouth when he's speaking to me. I'm cold like a river in an avalanche. I got them screaming when they see me, they're my biggest fans. Money looking like a blueberry.
You're welcome. That's going to be stuck in your head
You can listen to it on Spotify, little plug there.
Alright.
And we also made it onto a lot of different playlists organically, like Rap Caviar. So that's when you're like, okay, this is working. People are enjoying this.
So fantastic. Shifting gears a little bit here, Mario, would love to hear how you were thinking about brand loyalty and establishing connections with today's new consumer.
So talking about loyalty, Steph, you were talking about Uncle Johnny Green. And so when we got together as a team to define a loyalty strategy, we thought about it, and what we're trying to do with the loyalty program is understand the customer a lot better. And that's how the company's got started. So our strategy basically boils down to Uncle Johnny Green at scale. Like, do what he did, but at scale. My team is going to cringe because I tried to rename the team Udge Gas, which is Uncle Johnny Green at scale. I got voted down, unfortunately. And so what we try to do with that, and I sort of explained at the beginning, it's we're trying to understand how the customer behaves and try to be relevant to them. And that's very standard when you have a lot of data. But then what we're trying to do now, and what gets us excited, because you talk about a lot of exciting stuff and sexy stuff that you do. We have the data team, it's not that sexy. Well, we got a little bit of sexy stuff coming up. The big thing that's getting us excited for next year is we're going to be investing in something we call Gulp Radio. Gulp Radio is going to be the largest radio station in North America when we launch across our 13,000 store footprint. It has literally 200,000 customers an hour. It's pretty big. So what we can do, and the sexy bit of Gulp Radio is, when we're talking about culture, is the ambience you can create in the store and the messaging you can create in the store. If we think about Uncle Johnny Green, it was all active selling. He was there listening to the customer, talking to them, adapting the store to them. We don't do that these days. It's all self-service when you go to the supermarket and all that. Gulp Radio is going to allow us to tailor the ambience of the store and the messaging to the customer to the right time of day. So I'll give you an example, 2 examples. One is, we sell a lot of energy drinks. The reason to buy an energy drink at 7 a.m., very different from somebody who's buying an energy drink around noon, 11. Very, very different from a mom that's coming in to buy an energy drink before she picks up the kids from school. About 3, 4 p.m. which is totally different from somebody who's buying an energy drink at 10 p.m. Now, what we can do with Gulp Radio is all of the scripts can be generated by AI, and the voice recording can also be generated by AI. So what that will allow us to do, we're already testing it. We have about 500 stores, 800 stores with it right now. What that allows us to do is everything as marketers we've been used to doing with digital, A/B testing and optimizing, we will be able to do it in the store. And talking about culture and relating to the customer, one of the things, we don't know if it's going to work, but one thing that we're definitely going to test is, what if the messaging in the store about the Slurpee or the pizza oven, whatever it is, in Boston, we give it with a Boston accent. I can't do that.
I like it when you try that.
In Miami, we can use a Cuban accent, or we can do it in Spanish. Over here, we can do a Southern drawl. In California, I don't know, whatever they do over there. That, we think, may allow us to connect better with the consumer.
Awesome. So we are about at time here. Let's end with one more very, very important question. Favorite 7-Eleven food or beverage item we all need to buy ASAP?
Okay, I'm gonna go first because I have so many. I've worked at the brand for a really long time, so I have a lot. So I'm gonna pick two different that are from different categories. So our miso ramen is incredible. I challenge you to try it and then tell me later what you think about it, because it's amazing. And then the second is our new Bayou Blaze 7 Select chips, because talk about snacking. They are amazing. They're New Orleans inspired, but the flavor is so good, and you can only find it at 7-Eleven, so make sure you get it while you're here.
I'd say the vitamin water, zero sugar Slurpee, doesn't matter what the flavor is, they're all good.
Yeah. If you'd asked me a week ago, I would have said, and my team probably knows this, the cookie dough. We have cookie dough in the store. You just eat it. No one like, judges you. It's fine. But then yesterday, I had our holiday gummies, and let me tell you, limited time only, holiday gummies. You gotta try those.
She's serious about that, guys. This is not just something she did for a day. She's been talking about it for the last 24 hours.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. Really, really appreciate it. All right.
Hasn't had enough caffeine yet.
Right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.